coach at Johnson High School. It's about a 57-minute drive from Prospect High School, 32 miles, 3 seasons with Johnson. And his record speaks for itself, 41-5-6. Very talented athletic freshman team. Martin's already going to throw right on the gate. And the pass is going to be
It's not. It's where the lineup, right before a play. So where the players are, just get them in the middle.
I think Coach came here 2 years ago.
So they're over there, so you want to be. It's my fault.
Should I be zooming in when I'm on the air?
I'll let you know. So you're on right now.
And I think, like Smash, a lot of heavy runs, but heavy. Where is he with the ball at Johnson? A lot of he likes to throw it out there. Where is he a lot of that this year?
Almost.
And here is a running play. Yard of loss.
Loss of 2.
It's actually a loss of 2. It's going to be 36-yard line. Knight's already showing they're going to go quick here on this first third. They're in the first third down in the ball game. Are going to take the snap? He's going to throw.
Running away. That's caught. That's going to be 33, Nick Mariani. It looks like he's going to be about 2 yards short of the first down.
Great play by Martin, staying in the pocket, getting out of the pocket, moving around, finding his options, and seeing Mariani open up for the pass.
They're going to go for it here on fourth down. A very interesting decision. Dan DeBuff's going to pull his cards. He's going to be the aggressor here. DeBuff calls the plays to Martin, as you see right here. Martin in the shotgun. He is ready to go. Sargent in the backfield. He's going to throw. That pass is going to be caught. And that is 15, Traviola once again. He's had a good start to the game after missing a lot of last year with a leg injury.
Great play call first. DeBuff trying to take a risk with his first series, showing that they're here to play.
Martin's going to go on a back. He's going to find a Sargent, potentially a gain of a yard or two, and it's going to be 2nd and 8 from about the 39, 40-yard line. 9:52 remaining, still no score here between the Knights and the Lions. Once again, tempo, they're going to go quick here. Once again, Martin's going to take the snap. He's going to sneak it. Looks like the Viator defense was not fooled. No gain. It's going to be 3rd and 9. Another third down for the Knights. Likely another chance to go to the air with Jimmy Martin. Let's see what Dan DeBuff's going to call here for the second third down of the game. They need 9 to get the first down and continue the drive. Man in motion is number 22. No marks, but Martin is going to be close to a first down. I think he's going to get it at about the 31-yard line. Let's see how they measure it. The officials are going to measure it. They're going to push the chains. It looks like they're going to need the official, and we're going to have a measurement.
You can feel the energy here in George Gaddis. People are incredibly excited to see this new up-tempo offense that we've all been raving about at the start of the year.
Yeah, and you can tell the players want the crowd getting excited. If this is not a first down, it might be by about maybe a half an inch. It is a very close, very, very close, and we're going to have the chain gain come out. And let's see. Prospect thinks they have a first down. We'll see if they're correct. And they are. And it was by more than the length of the football. So it's going to be a first down for Prospect at the 31-yard line. Good start to the drive for the Knights.
Absolutely. I think one of the most encouraging things that I've seen now is you would note last year going to away games to a team like Buffalo Grove, you saw the size of Buffalo Grove's team on the other side of the field. It was enormous. You look at the Knights team now, this is a much bigger roster. They've called players up from JV. Great to see more players being able to contribute.
And you also, and on the offensive line, they were missing a piece. Had Sebastian Swishdek, and we'll talk about him later. Zardzen's going to keep going. It's going to be about a gain of 7. That'll bring up a 2nd and 3. 4, pardon me. Looks like he got a little more than that. It's going to be 2nd and 6 from the 27. Martin's going to throw here on 2nd down. Good job by the line, give it pressure. It looks like he's going to be break a few tackles. It's going to be looks like a yard short. It'll be 3rd and 1 from about the 24-yard line. Third and 3 from the 24. They're going to hand it off to Zardzen, and it looks like Viator is going to hold and set up a 4th down for the Knights. What is Dan DeBuff going to call here, Connor?
I think on his first series that he would play, if I were him, I would play it safe with a field goal just to get some points on the board. But I don't know. We've seen he's taken risks before. Maybe he'll take one again.
Maybe a chance to draw him off sides. We'll see. But the conditions are not ideal for a field goal tonight, but we'll see. They're going to reverse, and it's not going to work, and the Lions are going to take the football over. A risky call by DeBuff, and it's not going to pan out. So it's a turnover on downs for the Knights, and St. Viator will take the ball from about the 24-yard line.
That's what happens when you go for it on 4th down. You run that risk of losing the ball. But I think from the first series, overall, I'm impressed with this new up-tempo offense.
They look good coming out, and I think that's something the offense is going to probably say, hey, we almost had them. We will see about that, and this is the first time we'll get to see St. Viator quarterback Jack Mahoney. Jack Mahoney's a very good athlete. He is committed to the University of South Carolina to play baseball, and head coach Dave Archibald said he's going to like the run-pass options he's going to get from this junior. We'll see what he's doing. He's a very athletic kid. I got to see him throw a little bit earlier. He is a very athletic kid. We're going to see what he does, but, again, they have a lot of good talent on this Viator team. First play is a handoff. That's number 55. And that is a first down for St. Viator. That's a gain of about 11 or 12. That's 55, Jeremiah Pittman. 6'2", 270, good luck. Good luck tackling him on defense for the Prospect, but an interesting call right out of the gate for Dave Archibald here for the Lions.
I think one of St. Viator's biggest advantage is the size of their offensive line. I mean, these numbers are ridiculous. You take Javier Sanchez, a 6'6", 300-pound offensive lineman, or you take Alan Hudson-Camp, another 6'1", 315-pound offensive lineman. That size can really come to St. Viator's advantage.
And you just see it again with Jeremiah Pittman, 6'2", 270, and that crowd over there is getting fired up. It's a gain of about 7 or 8. So it's going to be at prospect 48. 2nd and 2 for St. Viator. 2 run plays, couple running plays right out of the gate for St. Viator. We'll see if they go to the air here on 2nd and short. Mahoney's going to stay up front next to the line. The line is absolutely huge for Viator. They are a lot of big fellas. This time Pittman will be heading the other direction as he's going to be tackled for a loss. After a couple nice runs for Jeremiah Pittman, that one will go for a negative on that one. It's going to be 3rd and 2. They marked that as no gain for Pittman. And there is a prospect player down on the field. And we talked about Dan DeBuff wanting one-way players. It helps because injuries sometimes to two-way players, they can kill you. And we're going to see a team next week in Hoffman Estates where there is a lot of two-way players.
I think one of the dangers about being a two-way player, like you take Michael Chaffetz last year, he was playing every offensive snap, nearly every defensive snap. When you strain your body like that, play that many plays in the row, you run the risk of injuring yourself.
And the athletic trainers are going to take care of the injured players. Never a good sight to see here in the first game of the year. The injured Knight is 34, Michael Sema. It's great to see that he's going to walk off on his own power. Still going to be 3rd down and 2 for St. Viator from Prospect's 48-yard line. A lot of running here from Viator early. Let's see if they're going to go to the air here. With Mahoney, we'll see. Here we go. They are going to go to the air. Mahoney's pressure, and it's going to be incomplete. And let's see what Viator does here on a 4th down and 2. Are they going to go for it, or are they going to punt it?
I think Viator plays it safe here, punts it away. Didn't have the best first drive. Want to play it safe. It is only 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah, we'll see if they do maybe even a little pooch kick here. And let's see if, and it looks like Viator is going to keep the offense on the field. Let's see. Maybe they use Jeremiah Pittman again. Again, that size is very tough for a Young Knights D-line to deal with here on 4th and 2. They're going to actually throw it. The pass is going to be caught. That's number 6. That's Kevin Murphy, 6'3", 155. And that's going to be plenty for a first down. And that'll move the chains for St. Viator. Another.
We've seen both teams now taking risks on 4th down. It'll be interesting to see how much longer throughout the game that they continue to take those risks, whether they keep doing this into the 4th quarter. Good passing by both teams right now. Mahoney is in the shotgun now. And he's going to take a look over at the sideline to there's a handoff. That's going to be to number 8, Elijah Black. And Black's going to be taken down for a 2-yard loss. A great tackle there by the Prospect defense. And that is going to be a loss of about 2. It's going to be 2nd and 12. Number 11, Nick Piscatelli chased the runner all the way down across the field. Great play, great tackle.
Absolutely, and let's see if maybe Viator is going to go deep down the field here. 2nd and long from the 44-yard line. We'll see. First quarter, 5:22 remaining. Still no score. The Knights drove down the field. They turned it over on downs. Viator used a couple run plays, then a nice pass from Mahoney to Kevin Murphy on a 4th down play, kept the drive alive, and Mahoney is now scrambling out of the pocket, and the pass is incomplete. That's intended for Zach DeJohn. DeJohn was a highly expected performer from Viator tonight, and is throughout the season. He's a very good receiver.
Great pressure by Jack Friedrichs on that play, making Mahoney run for it the entire time. Mahoney was under pressure, didn't have time to set his feet and make a good pass.
And I think the Knights got to get pressure on him. This is a big Viator offensive line. And I think the only chance the Knights have of getting to Mahoney is they got to pressure them intensely. This is a very, very big Viator offensive line. And they got a very athletic quarterback as well. So it's going to be tough for the Knights to keep Mahoney from not getting any big plays, as he's going to be outside the pocket. That's going to be Black. And Black is going to be rolling down to about the 35-yard line, 35, 36-yard line. Black has a scholarship in lacrosse to The Ohio State University. He ran for almost 900 yards last year. Another big part of the Viator offense that likely is going to have a big part in tonight's outcome. .433 remaining in the first quarter. It is still knotted at 0 between St. Viator and Prospect, the home opener, season opener from George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. Jack Mahoney is in the shotgun, and he's going to throw it. Let's see if he goes deep, and that pass is dropped. And that was dropped by Kevin Murphy. That looked like if he had it, that is a touchdown for sure.
Like you said, great chance by the Knights. Kevin Murphy catches that pass. The score is 6-0 Viator. But also a great stop throughout that defensive drive by the Knights, sticking with the play, being able to rush Mahoney, putting him under pressure.
And there is no controversy regarding this decision for Dave Archibald. He is going to send the punting unit out there. And it doesn't look like there's really anybody back there for Prospect, so it looks like we'll see. Oh, Martin's actually there's Shaffis. Shaffis is in there. And it's very quick run for Michael Shaffis. We talked about DeBuff liking two-way players, maybe getting him some carries early in the game. It's all alone is Jimmy Martin. In motion is Noah Marks. That's who he gives it to. Marks is a very quick runner, and he's going to be out of bounds. And it's going to set up with about a 3rd and short. Looks like a gain of 4 for Marks. And the Knights are going to have to convert here on 3rd down.
Michael Schaff is coming back into the backfield on this third and 5 or so. You want your big name players, your Michael Schaffis, your difference makers on a certain play like this.
Yeah, Shaffis had 900 yards last year as well. Had a big season on the ground, a big part of the Knights' offense last year, and probably will be a bigger part of the Knights' defense this year, which is led by defensive coordinator Brock Collins. So it's Martin and Shaffis that are going to be in the back. Martin's going to throw. That's tipped up, almost picked. It's going to be an incomplete pass. Looked like he was in the area of Traviola or Brian Doherty. Doherty came off an ACL tear that was suffered at the beginning of the year. He did not play at all last season. And Shaffis is on the field, which likely will mean the Knights will punt it away. It's a 4th and 5 from the 41, 3:36 remaining. Still no score from George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. Shaffis has been the punter for the past couple of seasons. There's a flag on the field. We'll see. Might be good, and it's going to be lost. That's number 8, Elijah Black. And Black is going to be tackled. We're going to check on the flag. There's a couple of them. It's going to be a false start on Prospect. And let's see what Dave Archibald's going to do here. And it looks like they're going to make him punt it again.
One of the things the Knights will have to keep in mind throughout the game is staying out of penalty trouble. When you have a young, somewhat experienced team, it's important that you can't make those careless mistakes because they can end up costing you the game at the end.
Yeah, penalties are absolutely crucial to every game, and it doesn't matter who you're playing, whether it's the best team in the conference or the worst team in the conference. And St. Viator is by no means a bad team. They went to the playoffs last year, even though they got shut out in the first round of the state playoffs last year. Looks like the Viator is going to take the penalty. It looks like they're going to want the Knights to punt it away and perhaps get them better field position for Jack Mahoney. To go ahead and get the Lions into the end zone for the first time and break our scoreless tie. Schaff is going to punt. This is a high into the sky. It's a very, very, very misty night. Looks like the Knights are going to touch it at about the 36-yard line. That was number 45, Andrew Benzing, who touched it. And it'll be St. Viator's ball, 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line. So we will see how Viator does on their second drive of the football game.
Wyatt, so far, after seeing an offensive and defensive series, what are your impressions of Dan DeBuff's new team?
Well, it's very early, and you know, there's a lot of talk about him we're going to air it out a little more, but we've seen a lot of short passes, and that's good because the Knights have a lot of quick receivers. So it's going to be interesting to see when they're going to air it out, at what time. Like maybe on a 3rd and long, maybe it's a little obvious that they might air it out. So watch out for those short plays. That's when they might go out deep. There's Elijah Black, and he is wrapped up by a lot of Knights, including Adam Mecke, who was a key linebacker for the Knights this year and a key one for them last year.
Absolutely. Great play by Adam Mecke, chasing down that run the entire time. He had eyes on their play the entire time and saw right through the offensive scheme.
It's going to be a loss of 2 for Elijah Black, and now it's just Mahoney all alone. It looks like Viator is going to go in the air here on a 2nd and 12 from the 34-yard line. 2:40 remaining in the first quarter. Prospect 0, Viator 0. He's going to go deep. This pass is going to be caught. That's going to be by number 6, Kevin Murphy. That's going to be at about the Prospect 37-yard line. A big gain for the Lions on 2nd and 12. That is a big gain, and it's going to set up another first down in Prospect territory. Viator's not holding back. They're going to go to the line pretty quickly here on a 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Mahoney showed off his arm strength there in his first game. Let's see what he does here on 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Kevin Murphy, who made the reception, 6'3", 155, so that definitely helped. There's going to a screen pass to Black. Black's going to wiggle around, and he's going to be followed by quite a few number of Knights, including number 2, Gary Moeller. Joe Ezek also on the tackle. A lot of youth on this Knights defense, and so far they've been showing their speed, and they've been playing very, very well. That was a loss of 4 there for Black. It's 2nd and 14 from the 42-yard line. Black stands next to Mahoney in the shotgun. Mahoney's going to take the snap. He's going to go deep again, looking for Murphy. This pass is long gone. There's a flag. Yeah, we'll see what the call is. It's going to likely be a hold on Prospect.
I don't know. That was a pretty debatable call from the referee there. But you know, after a questionable throw of the flag of the referee, all you can do is just accept it. Fighting the call will just make it worse.
And you know, you never know. It looks like Dan DeBuff might have said that might have been an uncatchable football. We'll see, but it doesn't really matter. It's gonna bring an extra 15 yards. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 for St. Viator at the 27-yard line as they almost enter the red zone here on their second drive of the game. Wyatt Utrecht, Connor Graver here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium for the season opener between the Prospect Knights and the St. Viator Lions. Jack Mahoney is in the shotgun with running back Elijah Black. Black 5'8", 165, has really good speed. As Mahoney this time takes it himself, runs into a group. Looks like a gain of about 5 or 6, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 5 from about the 23-yard line.
Important couple of plays coming up where we get to see both teams for the first time entering the red zone. We'll see how the Knights defense can try to hopefully hold Viator to a field goal or no score at all.
Absolutely. 2nd and 6 coming for St. Viator from the 22-yard line of the Prospect Knights. 59 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It is tied at 0. And here is Black. Black is going to make a spin move, and he's going to have a wide open. He's going to cross the goal line. That's going to be a St. Viator touchdown. Elijah Black uses his moves. 900-yard rusher from last season, and he showed the Knights why he is one of the best running backs on this team.
You have to give credit where credit's due. That was an absolutely great play by Elijah Black, spinning through the defense, finding the open hole, and taking it to the house.
And you got to give credit to that huge St. Viator offensive line. We talk about it all day long. They are big boys. And it's going to be tough for the Knights to bring pressure on them. And it's just shown there. Very interesting formation here. Let's see if this is...
Reminds me of the Patriots-Colts game that we saw on Sunday night a few years ago with that strange Colts formation. Not sure what Viator had in mind there.
Yeah, and it did not work. As you see, as the emotions from assistant coach Tim Beischer is shown, as Viator will not get the 2-point conversion. But it is still St. Viator 6, Prospect nothing, 43.7 seconds remaining in the first quarter. A very interesting second drive for St. Viator, especially with the formation on the 2-point conversion that failed. So Viator strikes first here in the opening game of the season between Prospect and the Lions. So let's see what the Knights do on their next drive. We'll see if they do something similar to what Viator did, maybe go deep into the air. We'll see.
We bring it up now that they're down in the hole. This is a very important drive coming up. How will Jimmy Martin be able to lead this team? How will they be able to respond being down a score now?
And this is going to be key. I think Jimmy had a lot of unforced turnovers last year, and I think that's going to be big this year. He can't turn the ball over in these key situations, even though you're down 6-0, and there's still 3 quarters left in the game. Every drive matters. It doesn't matter when or how it gets done. It's got to get done. And against a great defensive team like St. Viator, it's going to be tough to get points against them.
Absolutely, every drive matters. It may seem now 6-0 in the first quarter, but we go back to the end. We go towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter. Could be 6-0 still. You'd be thinking about those empty drives you had in the first quarter.
Michael Perk is going to kick it off, and here we go. This is a very good kick from Perk, and this is not even going to be returned by number 22, Noah Marks. That is going to be a touchback, and Viator will begin their drive. From the 20-yard line, 43.7 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It is 6-0 St. Viator here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. Next 2 weeks, the Knights are going to hit the road. First, it's going to start off with a very, very tough challenge in Hoffman Estates, a team that went deep into the playoffs last year, and against Niles North, a team that did not have as much success as Hoffman Estates did. They only won about 2 games, and Martin is in trouble, and he's going to be brought down. That's going to be by number 83. That's going to be Jake Polkowski, who got to Martin, and it looks like the Viator defensive line got to Martin early. That's a key for their defense as well here today.
Absolutely. This offensive line for the Knights, led by senior Mitchell Camp, it's very important that they can hold these big 300-pound guys that we've been talking about. It's very crucial that they keep the pocket safe and secure so Martin can make a play.
Martin's going to go into the air. Now he's going to scramble. He's got some space. He wiggles around. Looks like, okay, there's going to be a flag, and that's going to look like 15 yards more. Perhaps a helmet-to-helmet contact, and this has been a very, very important rule change here for the IHSA. It looks like they're going to call, and there's going to be a lot of calls here with this contact in for player safety, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. We saw on the end of that play, number 64, Will Hamlin for the Lions, a late hit right on Martin's head that popped his helmet off. Referees will see that and will call that every time.
And you just got to be careful about player safety as Martin walks off. And he's very upset about something. And he might be getting checked out here. We'll see what the penalty is. And now they're going to bring in Gary Moeller, the backup quarterback. He is a sophomore. He plays on defense as well. They're going to sit Martin out maybe for a play. Maybe they're going to get him checked out. Of course, player safety is the most important thing in our game.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, these are high school kids. We play the game of football, and it's very important. But at the end of the day, player safety reigns above all.
They're going to call personal foul on St. Viator. And right now the clock is at 0:00. And we will see when that will change as the officials are discussing it. We'd like to thank our sponsors tonight, right now, Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect, for sponsoring us here tonight for tonight's game. Head on over after the game. We still got 3 quarters left. You can head out and actually watch the game live at Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect in Randhurst Village. And also another sponsor, the Outback Steakhouse in Mount Prospect. Stay tuned for the Outback Player of the Game later on in the fourth quarter. We will see who that will be. And so far, it has been a very interesting start. So it looks like Jimmy Martin might sit out a play due to that late hit on the looks like on his head, and it'll be Gary Moeller who will take a snap here at the beginning of the second quarter. So at the end of one, it is St. Viator 6, Prospect nothing. Gotta like what you've seen from Coach Dan DeBuff so far here today, Connor.
I absolutely do. You know, this first quarter, I had a lot of expectations going into the game, and I think that DeBuff has really shown up. He's, you know, fulfilled his promise of bringing this 4-man, 5-man set offense with a pass-oriented offense, which is what I want to see, because I think when you put a guy like Jimmy Martin, who thrives on the pass, you put him in that offense, I think he can be very successful.
And you talk about teams that have been passing, and a lot of the teams in the MSL have been passing a lot more. Prospect was a run heavy offense last year. It was almost like we got to run almost every play. And now with Dan DeBuff, you're starting to mix it up. And I think it's very similar to an offense that BG runs, because they got a 6'1" Northern Illinois commit who we'll see later on in the year, Tom Trebe. And then they also have Connor Adams, a guy who's been starting for 3 straight years at Buffalo Grove. So that definitely helps their offense keep it moving. They're very quick offense, as we look like we're going to see Gary Moeller here for a play, maybe even more, depending on the health of Jimmy Martin.
Absolutely, and I think one of the most important things about having a quarterback like Jimmy Martin and a more pass-oriented offense is you take the pressure that was already on Michael Chaffis last year. Chaffis was the keystone of this offense. You needed him, and by taking that off, you can put Luke Zardzin in his place and have Chaffis use his talents more on defense.
So it's going to be Luke Zardzin with Gary Moeller. We'll see if Jimmy Martin is going to come into the game in the next play. We'll see. Reached a late hit. Our first quarter stats. Prospect had 11 carries, only 14 yards. 3 of 4 passing for Jimmy Martin, 27 yards. But they had 4 first downs, so that's something to look up even with a goose egg in the score column. St. Viator had 9 carries, 49 yards. So they've been getting a lot of success on the ground. It's actually Martin who's going to hand this to Zardzin. It's going to be a gain of about 2 or maybe even 3. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 7 from about midfield.
Great to see Martin back on the field. Had the scare with the late hit afterwards on that play at the end of the first quarter, but great to see him back where he belongs.
Martin is going to scramble. He's going to move a little bit. Going to be a gain of maybe 2. We'll see where the officials spot it. Great to see Jimmy Martin back. 11:23 in the second quarter. It is 6-0 St. Viator. Let's see what the Knights do on 3rd and 5. Martin is going to pass. He's got Doherty looking. And Martin's going to throw. That's going to be caught. A very contested throw. It's going to be caught by number 88. That's Matt Meyer, who's got a lot of height. And he has shown that here. And that was a very tough throw from Jimmy Martin. A great catch by Meyer. But they're going to go quick here. Martin's going to throw here. He's going to move outside the pocket. And Jeremiah Pittman is going to grab him by the ankle. That is a big boy coming after you. Might get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 2nd and 10.
That is a very scary sight to see Jeremiah Pittman coming at you like that, lunging on top of you. Way to go, Martin, though, for keeping up with the play and getting a few extra yards.
It's like running of the Bulls. You can't. Good luck. Martin is going to hand it off to Luke Zardzin. And Zardzin is going to be out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Going to be at about a couple yards short. Another 3rd down here for Prospect. Down 6 here in the second quarter. And we talk about a lot of new faces both on the Knights offense. How about on the Knights coaching staff? Obviously, you have the new head coach in Dan DeBuff. You also have new coaches in Kevin Kern. Dan Keller is still here. Matt Weber is also around. Martin's going to take a carry. This is going to be very, very close to a 1st down. It looks like he is going to get it. He's going to get to the 26-yard line. That'll move the chains for Prospect. A 1st down and 10.
I think a very interesting dynamic we've seen so far in the game is using Martin's ability to run out of the pocket and make scrambles on play. Martin has a great football mind, knowing when to make the right calls, and it's great to see Prospect utilizing that skill.
Yes, he does. He's gotten so much better as both a quarterback also was a lot better as a leader as the season went on last year. It's great to see him back on the field after that scary sight a couple moments ago, as he's going to run into a pair of Lions, number 52, Brandon Taylor, 6 foot, 220, and number 64, Will Hanlon, 6'4", 220. A lot of big guys on that Viator defense that it just seems like they're bulls coming right after you.
I don't know what they've been putting in the water at St. Viator, but Prospect could definitely use some.
They're getting their whey protein in, I'm telling you that, Connor. Martin in the shotgun. He's going to throw here on 2nd and 9. He's going to throw a short pass to Doherty. That's going to get to the 21-yard line. And it's going to bring up another 3rd down and short for Prospect. Let's see if the Knights run here on 3rd down. They're going to go it in the air. Wide open pass, and it's dropped. That looks like by number 15, Ryan Traviola. And that'll bring up a 4th down and decision time for Dan DeBuff.
Wide open passes like that to Traviola, those are the plays that you have to make when you're that open, trying to move the chains on a 3rd down situation.
That was a very good throw from Jimmy. I don't think we've seen really one bad throw from him today. He's been very accurate at the football. So it's time for Anthony Santangelo to attempt what looks like a 43-yard field goal. Gary Moeller is holding, and we're going to have a time by St. Viator. 43-yard field goal. It rained a little bit earlier here tonight, so winds are not too bad for Santangelo to make a kick. They look like they are at his back.
You know, fellow member of the Prospector, Anthony Santangelo, talks in class about this today. We talked about this exact scenario. What if he has to give, a long-range kick? And he said last year that he feels comfortable kicking in the rain. Did kick a 42-yarder against Elk Grove last year in these same conditions.
Yeah, he did, and he was the star player of the game for that one. In a tough road environment like that, Knights will have 4 road games. 5 will be played at home. Our next home game, September. It'll be in early September after Labor Day, September 14th, it looks like, against the Deerfield Warriors of the Central Suburban League. A very interesting matchup. Deerfield, a very good football team. We will see them in a couple weeks. But Hoffman Estates and Niles North will come before that. And right now, St. Viator with a chance to cut the lead in half. And Santangelo's kick, it's going to be no good. It looked like it was short. Did not get enough leg on it, and Viator is going to get the football with a chance to take the lead by 2 possessions, and they're going to get the football in great field position, Connor.
You can't let that one get you down. That was very close to scoring, but it's important for the Knights to rebound, except you didn't make the field goal. Now you have to see what can I do to prevent Viator from scoring again on defense.
And we will see whether that field goal attempt is going to influence Dan DeBuff's decisions later on tonight. And as we can hear Jimmy Martin from up here, he's telling everyone, I believe in all you guys. Even though they just missed a field goal, got to have team trust. That's a very important part of the game. As Jack Mahoney now stands in, he's in the shotgun. He's going to scramble for a couple, gain of about 4 to the 25-yard line. It's going to be a 2nd and 5 for St. Viator at the 25-yard line.
Absolutely. We talked on our show, Prospect Football Weekly, and Jimmy talked about how he wants to not only be a leader on the field, but off the field. He wants to be the starting varsity quarterback, a very high-powered position. He wants to lead with that character and be that person on and off the field.
He also grew up 6 blocks away from this very spot. So I think this means so much to Jimmy Martin to get Prospect football where it belongs, which is back in the state playoffs. That was his pinned tweet on his Twitter page as Mahoney took a very, very hard hit by number 2, Gary Moeller, a sophomore, getting a lot of playing time here for the Knights defense. So it's going to be about a third down, and it's going to be a 1st down and 10 at the 30-yard line for St. Viator. Mahoney got the gain. And it'll be a first down for Viator to continue the drive. 6-0 St. Viator here at George Gaddis. And already pressure coming. Missed tackle. Mahoney's going to throw it. This is in the middle, and it's dropped. Wow, that was dropped by number 4, Joe Ezek. Pressure is being made from Adam Mackey. That's one you got to have.
You could feel it all up here. It's in the press box. We're all, screaming after that. When you get a pass that wide open, middle of the field, you've got to make those catches.
There's a late penalty flag coming. And let's see what this is going to be. It looks like it is going to be against Prospect. We will see it. Actually, it's going to be against St. Viator. And that'll push the Lions back.
Hey, you want to take a look?
So it's going to be a first down and 23 from the 17-yard line. 7:28 remaining in the second quarter. 6-0 St. Viator here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. It's Jack Mahoney along with Elijah Black in the backfield. That pass is tipped, and it's incomplete. It looks like there's a penalty flag down somewhere near Coach Tom Whalen. And let's see what this is going to be about. A theme we've been seeing throughout the game is the amount of penalties in this game. I haven't been keeping track, but the Knights need to make sure in the second half that they cut down on those mistakes because they can cost you, like we talked about earlier, big late in the game. Might have been just an official timeout. So it's going to be 2nd and 23 from the 17-yard line. So St. Viator's got to get all the way to the 40-yard line as we're going to have a discussion. So now it's Mahoney with Black once again. Both guys have scholarships in different sports. 2 Division I schools. Mahoney has 1 to South Carolina, Black to Ohio State. Let's see what they do here on a 2nd and 23. They are going to pitch it out to Black, and Black is going to be, he's going to keep going. He breaks a lot of tackles, and that's going to be at about the 38-yard line. So it's going to bring up about a 3rd and 2. That's going to be a gain of 21. A very good run from Elijah Black. Run right there by Elijah Black. Kind of reminded me of like Leonard Fournette at his times at LSU. Non-stop, breaking tackles left and right. And it's not even going to count because there's going to be a holding penalty against St. Viator. So that's going to push the Lions back even further. Now it's going to bring up a 2nd and almost 30. And once again, St. Viator needs to get to the 40-yard line. Very critical. 2nd and 23. Viator's inside their own 10-yard line. Expect a heavy blitz from the Knights defense trying to force Viator even for a safety. Second and 32 from the 8-yard line. Looks like this could be a pass situation. It's a long way to get to the 40-yard line. But again, Mahoney has hit to Kevin Murphy earlier in a deep pass, and it looks like that's where he's going to go, except the pass is underthrown to Kevin Murphy once again. Mahoney was in some pressure, he got knocked down a bit. Good job by the Knights defensive line to get to him. And now it's going to bring up a 3rd and 32. We will see if they maybe just run the play, maybe a quick screen. This is a 3rd and 32 for St. Viator. Looks like a pass situation. They got 4 wide. It's now a man is in motion. That's number 23. Mahoney's going to go deep here. He's got a man open, and it's incomplete. It looked like it was a bit overthrown. And now it's St. Viator will likely punt the football away.
We'll get to see another chance for the prospect special teams to hopefully be able to return a punt. Back deep is senior Nick Mariani, who will be looking to return the punt for the Knights.
And this is not an easy punt for St. Viator in your own end zone. So the Knights are going to get great field position for the first time probably all night.
Absolutely.
And this is a big drive for a prospect as the man comes in a little late. Good snap. Punt is away. It's a very good punt. Mariani is going to call for a fair catch at about the 47-yard line. That'll bring up a 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. Great field position to start for a prospect.
Very important drive here for the Knights. Down 6-0, 6 minutes, a little under 7 minutes, to go in the first half. Viator gets the ball back in the third quarter. You want to make sure you tie up the score to get that big first touchdown that DeBuff's looking for.
There's Chaffis, and we've been seeing a lot of Zardzin. Chaffis getting a couple of carries here and there as well. So to get about a gain of 8, bring up about a 2nd and 2 for prospect. 2nd and 1, gain of 9. It's going to be at about the 38-yard line already. They're going to use quick tempo. Handoff once again to Chaffis. Chaffis is going to be very, very close to a first down. And let's see whether they are going to move the chains. And they will. It's going to be a first down for prospect.
Martin again in the shotgun, gives it to Chaffis, spins off, good 6 or 7 yard run.
Absolutely, and maybe DeBuff is starting to change his philosophy, maybe with those two-way players. I know they're going to get tired. As now here's Zardzin's going to come in for Chaffis.
And I think the important thing that Chaffis brings to the table is his experience. Already having a year of varsity running back under his belt's important for Luke Zardzin, who's in his first varsity game of his career, to bring in Chaffis, who has that experience in these key plays.
And that pass was dropped by Traviola. That's his second drop here in the quarter. And now that's going to bring up a 3rd and 4. Looks like the Knights will, if they don't convert here, they're going to probably go for it as Martin is going to look. He's going to scramble. He's got to find an open pocket. He's going to get the first down, gain of about 5, and the Knights will move the chain here.
Great play. We talked about earlier Martin's football knowledge. Looked to his left, looked to his right, saw that he wasn't open anywhere, saw a hole right up the middle created by senior Mitch Camp, took it right ahead, first down Knights.
Quick again, and here is Luke Zardzin, and he is a big back. He's going to drive his way close to a first down. The Knights are now in the red zone. And now it's goal time for the Knights. 5:37 remaining in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the 10. 1st and goal. 6-0 St. Viator. We'll see what they do here. Maybe a pass into the end zone. And a timeout is called by St. Viator to the exuberance of the prospect coaching staff.
Absolutely. We saw that last run by Luke Zardzin. It was great to see the sophomore finally getting in, in the nitty-gritty, making those plays, breaking tackles, getting that experience that he so desperately needs.
Absolutely, Connor. And that timeout by Viator. Let's give a moment to shout out our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings Outback Steakhouse. Head there after the game. Bloomin' onions and chicken wings for everyone. And we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching all across the area, as well as in 2 very special places, West Lafayette, Indiana, as well as Bloomington, Indiana. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Y2 Trek Connor Graver for the season opener here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. It's a raucous atmosphere here inside the stadium.
Absolutely. First game of the year always has that type of atmosphere, It's football here at Prospect. It's what you look forward to. I know the buzz at school today was it's Big Blue Friday, it's game day. That's all anybody cares about on a Friday like this. Martin takes under center. He's got Zardzin in the backfield. Takes a snap, pitch to Zardzin, bobbled. Zardzin gets outside, round to the 10-yard line. Great call by DeBuff, trying to get that outside lane, trying to get closer to that score, that first night score of the season. Martin again in the shotgun. Too wide. Takes a snap. Looks to his left. Starts to scramble. Gets out of the pressure. Nice play by Martin, trying to keep that alive. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for the Knights on Viator's 10-yard line. The Knights are knocking on their doorstep.
Yeah, and there was almost nothing. It looked like there for Jimmy Martin. Found a way to get a couple of yards there. It's a 3rd and 10 from the 12-yard line. Looks like a passing situation for Prospect, but we'll see. Here is Martin. He is going to look. Pressure coming from Viator, and he is going to throw it. And he's going to be brought down. And let's see if this is going to be field goal time here for the Knights.
I think at this point, 4th and 10 on Viator's 12-yard line, you almost have no choice but to go field goal here. You need to get some points on the board.
They clearly are not listening to you, Connor, because they're going to send out Anthony Santangelo for a field goal. Gary Muller will hold once again, this time a little closer. This is about a 29-yard field goal. Here's the kick. It is going to be perfection.
And our prospector own Anthony Santangelo gets the Knights on the board for the first time this year. St. Viator 6, Prospect 3, 4 minutes, 27 seconds left in the first half.
And again, this is going to be key. I'm not sure we haven't really talked about it here this game. St. Viator has 1 timeout left in the half. So that's going to maybe prove very costly to them, as they might want a late quarter drive here in the second. Prospect has all 3 timeouts. But I think 3 points is good. It's a good start, but you got to keep getting more. Got to having those good drives. Maybe without a couple penalties or so, you're going to get that 6 points eventually.
Absolutely. With this up-tempo offense, you expect those high-scoring games, and that will come. It's just a matter of taking it game by game. But so far, I think the Knights are seeming to fit in comfortably with this new offense.
And it looks like the 2 student sections are getting into it with their phone lights, their flashlights. Very interesting, very interesting. We'll see if that distracts the players any. I don't think it will, but we will see. As it'll be Anthony Santangelo to kick off to it looks like Elijah Black back for St. Viator. Elijah Black, great speed as we saw earlier on his touchdown run. And the football has left the tee, and here we go. Black is going to get it at about the 3-yard line. It's a very good kick from Santangelo. Black is going to move around, and he's going to be tackled at about the 18-yard line. And that'll set up Viator for a 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line as they try to add to their lead. 6-3 St. Viator, 4:19 remaining in the second quarter. Wyatt Dutrek, Connor Graver from George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. We will not be at home until the homecoming game, Deerfield. But stay tuned, of course, for live tweets from both the games at Hoffman Estates and Niles North coming up at Prospector Live, the Twitter. Please follow them for the post-game interviews as well with Coach Dan DeBuff.
And look tonight, ProspectorNow.com, our very own Wyatt Dutrek will have his own story on tonight's game against St. Viator, up by tonight.
And this is going to be, as Mahoney, it looked like it was heading to Black, and Mahoney is going to take it for maybe a gain of 3, and there's the ball. Looks like it's out. We will see if it's going to be called down. I think it's going to be called down. Tackle was made by number 6, Adam Ryerson. Spent a lot of time at wide receiver last year for the Knights. One of the many sophomores who got a lot of playing time for Prospect this year. We're going to see a lot more sophomores getting playing time, including Noah Marks, Luke Sargent, and Gary Muller on both sides of the football. So it's going to be Jack Mahoney with Elijah Black in the shotgun. They're going to look over to the sideline to Dave Archibald, check on their final signals. Mahoney is going to pitch to Black. Black's got great speed. Oh, and he stiffed arm. It looked like Gary Muller. Only able to get a gain of a couple. Let's see if it might be a couple yards short of the first down. It'll be a 3rd and short. 3rd and 2 for St. Viator from the 26-yard line. Let's see what defensive coordinator Brock Collins calls up here against the Viator offense, who is having a lot of great success here so far with the running game. Started with Jeremiah Pittman on a couple first quarter runs, 6'2", 250 pounds. And now Elijah Black. There is Pittman again, and he is going to bulldoze his way for what looks like a first down. That's tough to tackle.
You see Jeremiah Pittman running up the middle. Adam Meckie had both of his arms wrapped around him. Still couldn't stop the sheer power. Jeremiah Pittman.
I don't think we've seen any team that has really used an offensive line, a guy who's probably prone to playing offensive line, as a running back this much. And it's not that he's a pretty good runner, too.
You know what comes to my mind? 1985 Chicago Bears, William the Refrigerator Perry. You've got to go that big offensive lineman type guy. Use him in short run plays.
And Mahoney's being pressured. This pass is going to be off of the fingertips of number 25. That's Eric Adams. And Jack Friedrichs put a lot of pressure on Mahoney and made for the wild throw. It's going to be a 2nd and 10 from the 29-yard line. A reminder, stay tuned for the halftime performance of the Prospect Marching Knights. They are absolutely wonderful. And of course, stay tuned for the Outback Player of the Game at the conclusion of the contest. But we still got 26 minutes left here in this contest. 2:16 remaining in the second quarter. 6-3 St. Viator. 2nd and 10 as Mahoney is going to throw here on 2nd down. He is going deep, and that pass is going to be caught. And he dropped it, looked like at the end. That's by number 28. That is Owen Hickey, 6'2", 150. They've been using those tall, lengthy receivers, and it's proved to be a very good weapon for the Lions here today.
Mahoney, you know, time and time again has shown off his sheer arm talent with these 20-yard, 30-yard plays. That's the type of player that the University of South Carolina will be receiving next year in their baseball commit.
Yeah, absolutely, except instead of 30 yards, he'll throw from about 90 feet. And Mahoney is going to show off his leg power as well. He's going to be close to another first down. Let's see if they're going to give it to him. Very close to the 29-yard line. And we are going to move the chains. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for St. Viator at the 29-yard line. Good leg strength here from Jack Mahoney. 1:55 and counting here in the second quarter. See if the Lions try to get a last-minute touchdown here. He's going to throw deep. This is going to be a tough throw, a little overthrown. Once again intended for Owen Hickey. That guy 6'2", that's going to be tough for him to catch. But you're right, Connor. I think Mahoney has shown the ability for those 20, 30-yard throws, and I think Prospect needs to start trying for it as well.
I think one of the most impressive things about Mahoney is that he's playing in his first varsity game. You know, the way he's been playing out there on the field, the way he's been carrying himself on the field, you would think that this is his second or almost his 3rd season as varsity quarterback, but it's his first game starting for the varsity team.
And he comes into a program with a lot of, now it's getting better and better under Coach Dave Archibald, and we are going to have some movement up front, and we'll have a false start. And we'll back up 5 yards to the 34-yard line. 2nd and 15 coming up for St. Viator. Good job by the Knights defense to get some shaking of the St. Viator offensive line. Great atmosphere here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. These two schools only separated by 1.9 miles. And the only reason these two teams don't face off is they're in two completely different conferences. And St. Viator, they travel some very vast differences, as we'll tell you later on in the broadcast. They have some very far opponents. Mahoney is feeling some pressure. He's going to throw it deep into the end zone. This pass is going to be incomplete. Great job by Gary Muller.
Great play. Jack Kasmer had the pass tracked down the entire time. It was in the air for Mahoney. Was able to bat it down right in the end zone. Just saved the Knights from another score.
Looked like the pass was a bit underthrown from Mahoney. And again, it's a bit windy out there tonight. Even with the rain now starting to stop, more isolated stuff coming in later tonight. It is still pretty windy out there. And so maybe that might have helped. And the ball ending up being underthrown by Jack Mahoney. Mahoney's going to throw it again. This time he finds a wide open Kevin Murphy. And he's going to get St. Viator to a first down, and that'll move the chains. And there's going to be a penalty for some extracurriculars. And we will see who will be the guilty party. This could be a very costly penalty here for the Knights, if it's going to be on Prospect, and if so, this could just let Viator simply run out the last 128 here and not let them have it for the rest of the second quarter. But once again, Prospect will get the football back. It's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct against Prospect. That's a big penalty. And now St. Viator has all sorts of options what to do here. Here in the red zone, do they run it and clock out the last 128, or do they go aggressive and give Prospect a chance with 3 timeouts to drive down the field, Connor?
And now we will go down live to our sideline reporter, Tia Sadlon, checking in before our halftime interview with head coach Dan DeBuff.
Yes, I'm ready for a sideline report at halftime. Yes, I'm ready.
As Mahoney's going to pitch to Black, we'll get to Tia in just a second.
Anything? Hey. Amanda, can you hear me?
And let's see what Viator does. Clock is gonna keep running. And Mahoney's gonna throw. He's gonna throw to the back of the end zone. This pass is a little overthrown, incomplete. Looked like the target was Kevin Murphy, who has been Mahoney's top target here tonight, receiving.
Absolutely, and when you take a guy like Kevin Murphy, a 6'3", 155-pound receiver, it's pretty obvious that he would be your top target you'd want to keep going back and back to again throughout the night.
Absolutely, Connor. 3rd and 10, third and goal, pardon me. 46.6 seconds remaining in the second quarter. There's a lot of anxious people here in Prospect High School right now. Let's see what Mahoney and Dave Archibald draws up here on a 3rd down and goal from the 6-yard line. He's going to throw. He's going to go for the 6'3" Murphy. This throw is going to be overthrown into the back of the end zone, which will likely set up a chance for 3, or potentially they might keep the offense out there. We will see, but it looks like they might send out the kicking unit and Michael Park.
Great defensive pressure from Gage Baer, following the play the entire time, pushing the receiver out of the end zone where there was no chance to make the play. Making up earlier for some of the throws in the first quarter, gave up a 30-yard pass or so that eventually led to Viator's first score.
Absolutely, and it's going to be Michael Perk who's going to kick a chip shot field goal. Perk is actually from Utah. And the underground is getting very fired up about this field goal attempt. We'll see. Conditions, the wind looks like it's been calming down a little bit. Again, there's no rain. Anthony Santangelo missed a field goal earlier. We'll see if Perk has any troubles here. This is going to be blocked. Blocked, it looked like, by Adam Mecki, and Prospect's going to pick the ball up and going to go to the 40-yard line. That is a big, big block, and that's going to set the Knights up in great field position here at the 40-yard line.
You can feel the bleachers at George Gadd is shaking. Fans have been waiting for a play like this. You know, a play of the Knights special team to really take control of this game, take control of the fans, get them back into this game.
And that's going to put a big smile on the face of new special teams coordinator Tim Beischer. He is pumped up, and now he's got to see his offensive line protect for his quarterback. 32.2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Knights have 3 timeouts, so there's plenty of time here to get a drive going. It's going to be Martin with Zardzin in the back. Let's see what Dan DeBuff calls here on the 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Knights are about 60 yards away from goal line. We'll see if they're going to go Santangelo. There's going to be a flag. It might be a hold against Prospect, and this might bring them back even further. And it's going to be a hold on Prospect, so it's going to get a little more difficult for Prospect to get into any type of range now with 26.2 remaining. So I would assume they're going to have to try something deep here coming up here on a 1st down.
We We've been talking about Dan DeBuff's high up-tempo offense. This is really Jimmy Martin's perfect opportunity to be able to show off that arm strength and really give something for the fans to cheer for.
I think people underestimated his arm strength last year. He's made some very high-quality throws down the field last year, especially against that game against Niles West. He looked like he was throwing the ball at very, very good rate. And now it's going to be at the 24, so it's a long way. Viator's going to play 3 back, it looks like, to protect against anything from going way over their heads. So they're going to be playing in protect mode here. On a first down, they're going to hand it to Zardzin. Likely Dan DeBuff might use a timeout. I'm surprised. I think they're going to run out the clock. Prospect will get the ball to start the second half after Viator did kick off to start the... After Viator... So it will be Viator who actually get the ball to start the second half, pardon me. And that's going to end the first half. And the score, St. Viator 6, Prospect 3. Stay tuned for a performance from the Prospect Marching Knights.
And we now kick it down to our sideline reporter, Tia Sadlon, as she has an exclusive interview with head coach Dan DeBuff.
So, Coach, after the first half of play is under your belt, how do you feel that the team is adjusting to the new offense?
I think we're adjusting well, really. I mean, we just got to capitalize on some things that we missed. But our game plan is right there. We got them right where we want them now.
Great. So how do you think they'll start a scoring drive in the second half?
Just continuing to take the easy stuff, and then I think their big boys are going to keep getting tired, and we're going to grind them.
Great. And what about the defense? How do you think they, particularly the secondary, will contain the Viator offense in the second half?
They just got to keep doing what they're doing. To only give up 6 points when we put them on the field a lot, they're doing an awesome job.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
And we would like to welcome you back to beautiful George Gaddis Memorial Stadium for the season opener between St. Viator and Prospect. So far, been a very low-scoring game between the two teams. St. Viator up 6-3. And here is our halftime stats. Prospect stats, 9 first downs. Prospects also had 24 rushes for 65 yards. Jack Mahoney has thrown 5 of 9 passing for 40. Jimmy Martin, has thrown 5 of 9 passing for 40 yards. Luke Sargent is your leading rusher in the half, 7 carries, 24 yards. St. Viator's had 11 rushes and 69 yards. Mahoney's had a good day today. Kevin Murphy, also another good day today, 3 receptions, 70 yards. St. Viator has thrown it in the air, and I think they've been a little more gutsy than Prospect has been today.
Absolutely, and I think that's kind of to be expected. You know, it's DeBuff's first game. He wants to be risky, but he doesn't want to go too out there, you know what I mean? Because you're trying to make first impressions not only with this team, but with the community. This is the Prospect Knights. This is the team we all know and love. You want to show that you're capable of putting them in good hands and by making smart choices as a play caller.
And I think he's going to grab his whole team and he's going to get them ready to go. And, you know, it doesn't get easier for them. I mean, next week against Hoffman Estates, they lost 18 seniors to graduation. It was a tough year on them for graduation, but they have a lot of guys who are experienced on that team who made it deep into the state playoffs. So it's not going to get easier for prospects, so they got to take advantage of their opportunities right now and get it done.
And I think, especially for Hoffman Estates, they have that uncoachable quality of having that experience in the playoffs, which none of these, none of the Knights have, which I think is crucial. Absolutely, these young Hoffman, these sophomore year Hoffman Estates players who had the experience of what it's like to play deep into October and November, they have that experience.
Yeah, what a year they had last year after Mike Donatucci went over to be Hersey's defensive coordinator. He did a great job with that program last year, once again getting them far into the playoffs. They were great last year as well, so it's going to be a very interesting season. Prospect is going to host 5 home games, including St. Viator tonight. We will also host the Deerfield Warriors for our homecoming game, as well as the Elk Grove Grenadiers, the Wheeling Wildcats, and the Hersey Huskies in no particular order. Prospect will also have to go on the road 4 times against 4 very interesting opponents. Starting out with Hoffman Estates, then Niles North, 2 straight. Those are drives from here, so it's going to be very interesting to see how the travel goes. Rolling Meadows and Buffalo Grove, those are going to probably be the 2 toughest games that they got to have.
Absolutely. I think you look at the Rolling Meadows and Buffalo Grove game, and I think that if this team is able to split that, go 1-1, maybe get, an upsets kind of win against one team, lose the other game, I think that puts them in a good position for the rest of the year.
Absolutely, and let's see how it goes. Anthony Santangelo is ready to roll as we will get the second half off and running. Here we go. This kick is going to be returned. This is Elijah Black, and Black is going to get to the 25-yard line. It's going to be first down and 10 for St. Viator at the 25-yard line. So this is where Jack Mahoney and crew will have their chance to start off the second half with a touchdown scoring drive here today. 6-3 St. Viator. A very interesting first half, both in terms of offense and defense. You had that blocked field goal that could have put Viator up by 6 points, make it at least a touchdown. Now it's still within a field goal. So points are going to need to be very important to come by. So for both teams, they're going to need to have a big drives, and when you get into the red zone, you have to convert.
Absolutely. I think what will be most important for Prospect now is stopping Viator on this first drive and then coming back with a score of their own. I think if they can take control of this half early, they can control the narrative for the rest of the game.
Absolutely, and let's see what Prospect's going to do. Let's see what St. Viator is going to do here on offense to start it off here today. And right now we are having some sort of delay. First and 10. Let's see what Mahoney's going to do here on the first play of the second half, and it is Black. Black is going to wiggle around. He's going to get to about the 31-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 6. There's going to be a flag late on the play, and we might have an additional 15 coming with it.
Another theme we saw in the first half, almost a flag on it. Feels like every play in this game.
It's going to be a hold on St. Viator. It might be 2. It's going to be a holding on St. Viator. Very late flag there. There's also going to be another flag. It's going to be for illegal block against the Lions. So a pair of penalties to start the half for Dave Archibald's crew. Not the way you want to start it here, and now they're moving back, and the more you move back, the more chances Prospect has to get in a great field position to make a touchdown drive here to start out their second half. 11:41 remaining in this third quarter of action. It's going to be 1st and 15 from the 20. And Mahoney is going to give it a little pass to Elijah Black. And there goes Black, and he's off to the races. There he goes. There is only Kevin Murphy is the one man remaining. And Elijah Black is going to make it all the ways and across the goal line. That's a St. Viator touchdown. That is a big run of 80 yards, and that is big.
Wow. What an athletic play from Elijah Black right from the get-go, cutting across the field, breaking tackles, going all the way 80 yards down the field, down in a foot race. Just a great overall play by Isaiah Black.
And it looked like he only had 5 yards on that play, Max, but with his great speed and his agility, that really helped him. And let's see if Viator is going to go for 2 here to make it a 14-3 game, but they are not. They're going to make it a 10-point game, and they're going to give Michael Perk a chance to kick the extra point to bring the lead up to 10. Perk's kick is going to be good, and now it's 13-3 St. Viator with 11-12 remaining in the third quarter. Now it becomes more pressuresome for the Knights to get on the board here to start the second half.
I think at this point now, this next drive for the Knights is absolutely critical. I think, you don't score in this drive, St. Viator gets the ball back. If they score again, it's now 20-3. Prospects dug themselves in quite a hole. It'll be interesting to see how starting quarterback Jimmy Martin responds to this adversity. Yeah, you talked about it. Yeah, he's had some close games, especially that game against Rolling Meadows last year, where it felt like it was back and forth the whole game. And there were some magical plays run by both Matt Mishler and Mike Sebastian from last year. And it was a crazy game, but this is where leaders are made. And I think this is where you're going to find out what you're going to do this year. I'm not saying that one drive is going to determine your season. It's going to be very key for them to score on this drive. It's kind of like a must-score situation here for Prospect. It's now 13-3 in favor of the Lions. Michael Perk is getting ready to kick off. Back to return is Noah Marks, as well as Luke Zardzin for the Knights. Two sophomore running backs. Both big physical, very quick kids. We're going to see a lot more of them as the season progresses. Now it's time for the Knights. Is it time to start airing it out deep here on this drive counter? I think so, absolutely. I think you have a guy like Jimmy Martin. I feel like why wouldn't you use that talent to your advantage? I think now it's a do-or-die situation for the Buffs offense.
It's a wobbly kick by Perk. It's going to end up in the end zone, and it'll be at the 20-yard line. So that's where Prospect is going to begin. Elijah Black has had one heck of a day, and we've talked about it. Maybe a candidate for our Outback Player of the Game later in the day. 8 carries, 111 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He has been terrific, and you kind of see why he's been offered a lacrosse scholarship to The Ohio State University.
Absolutely, he's shown all day his athleticism is off the charts. And I think Ohio State's got I don't know how great of his lacrosse skills are, but they've got a great athlete coming to Columbus.
Well, if his football skills are being any proving, there's good speed. And there is a run that went behind the line. It's going to be a loss of 8. 2nd and 18 from the 12, and Martin's going to take it himself. And he's only going to get a couple. And I think Dan DeBuff's got to go air here on third down, Connor.
Third down and around 11 or so. Very, very important play for the Knights offense to try to get back into this game.
And let's see what they do here on third and 10 from about the 20. It's a short pass. It's going to be caught by Traviola. That is going to be short, and now the Knights are going to likely have to punt.
But does it raise the question, will we see what we saw DeBuff do in the first quarter and go for it on fourth down?
I don't think you got to go through it this close, because if you do that, it's going to be a 3-possession game before long. So this is an obvious punt situation here for Dan DeBuff, and he's going to spread out. Michael Sheffis, the punter, he's been a punter for 3 years. He's been a very, very good punter. Always gonna, this is a short punt, it's high. Let's see who's gonna go out. It gets a nice bounce. And it's gonna be about to the 43-yard line. So St. Viator's still gonna get really good field position here with 10:08 remaining in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from about the 43-yard line.
It's a very scary sight to see that punt at first just go straight up. That's the last thing you want to see when you're on offense. But got some air towards the end, got a nice bounce, and now Viator starts their drive at around their own 43-yard line.
And of course, let's take our time to thank our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings and Mount Prospect. They also sponsor our Prospect Football Weekly Show. Stay tuned for that later in the week where we'll talk with Coach DeBuff, a player, and a special guest. Likely a special guest this week will be a special teams coach Tim Beischer, and I guarantee you that field goal is going to make him excited about that. As Beischer and DeBuff talk to the offensive unit on the sidelines. And here is Mahoney. He's got very good speed. He's going to get a couple, maybe about 2 or 3 to the 46-yard line. That'll bring up about a 2nd and 7 for Prospect, for St. Viator.
And you can see now, slowly into the second half, you can see through the lights, we've got some rain starting to come down. It'll be interesting to see how the rain affects the players later within this game.
Yeah, there's been forecasts all week saying there's going to be some type of rain in this game. Now it's going to make the field slick, so runs are going to be tough. The football might get wet, so you got to make sure you have that towel going at all times. So it's Mahoney with Elijah Black in the shotgun. They're going to give it to Black, and he is going to continue to make great moves, and he is going to keep going to the 33-yard line. What a day Elijah Black is having.
Back-to-back, huge runs from Elijah Black. Seems to have exploded in this second half. The Knights need to contain him soon.
And it will not count as there is a holding call against St. Viator. So that'll bring the Lions back here. So a very interesting penalty here. This could be very costly for St. Viator because that might be the difference between kicking a field goal and having to punt it away. Last couple of years, Prospect has opened up against Tinsdale South 2 years ago at home. It was a victory last year, a 20-0 loss. Likely next year we'll be heading to Forest View, where the Lions call their football home in beautiful Arlington Heights. So we'll see what the schedule shows up next year, but there's still 8 more games remaining this year. As it's Jack Mahoney, the man in motion. And Mahoney is going to throw. He's going to go deep down the field. This looks like it's going to be incomplete. That pass was intended for number 88, Michael Grossi. Actually looked like Owen Hickey, number 28. Big receiver, but little overthrown there from Mahoney.
Again, though, great pressure from senior Jack Hasmer and junior Gage Bayer, following the ball the entire time, making it almost impossible for Mahoney to complete that pass.
Gage is a very fast runner. He's not one of those big guys, not one of those tall defensive players, but he's got really great speed that can match up with a lot of good receivers. But I think it's going to be key, this matchup here with Gary Moeller against, it looks like, Kevin Murphy, because they have a lot of pressure coming. And there is a tackle there by the Knights defense. Great job there to prevent Black from going anywhere.
Michael Chaffis, the senior linebacker, starting running back from last year, now almost moved towards defense. Great linebacker, great positioning right there. He was right in the middle of the play, saw the run the entire time, put a stop to it.
A lot of good conference matchups here tonight, including the matchup out in Lincolnshire between Stevenson and Palatine. Those two have had some great battles over the years. Rain's still coming down a little bit, as it is a 4th and 16, so it's a Viator punt. Remember that penalty, it's going to be key. That was almost blocked. Looked like it might have been tipped, as it's going to get a Viator bounce. And the Knights are going to start at the 42. It looks like this is where the Knights are going to have to score here on this drive to get back into this ball game.
You know, we had that first offensive drive. They were lucky to get a great defensive stop, but this is a make-or-break moment for this Knights offense here. We see Jimmy Martin leading the crew out. You've got junior Luke Zardzin in the backfield, Matt Meyer on the wideout. Very important drive for the Knights.
Absolutely, he's done a great job. Matt Meyer's great height as well, as you He's not just a great receiver, he's got really good height, and he's got good speed, so it's good matchup for any against any of these Viator cornerbacks who are very big. So Martin is going to run here. Interesting decision here, and he's going to break a couple tackles, get a gain of about 8 to about midfield. And you wonder if they're going to start passing a little more frequently right now. It looks like they're still trusting the running game. A low snap, but Martin's going to get the first down and a little bit more to about the 40-yard line. Gain of about 10. It's going to be a first down and 10 for Prospect.
Great back-to-back solid QB runs by Jimmy Martin. That offensive line is starting to give him holes, and Martin's able to take those holes and create some yardage out of it and start moving the chains more and more.
And here is, looks like Zardzin, and Zardzin going to break a couple tackles. He's going to get 10 more. That's going to be another first down for Prospect. Zardzin going to be a key part of this Prospect offense. Great job by the offensive line, led by Mitch Camp, senior. As Martin is in the shotgun once again, he's going to hand it off to Zardzin once again. This time the gain will not be as great. Gain of about 3. It's going to bring him closer to the red zone. Wonder if the Knights are going to get more aggressive here, Connor?
I think so, absolutely. You're getting to around halfway through the third quarter. I think now is a great time to start really, putting your foot on the gas pedal and really stepping up the pace.
Speaking of starts, that's going to be a false start called against Prospect, so they're going to move back 5 yards. Rain's starting to come down a little bit heavier now. That's what it was expected to a lot during the week. Martin's going to throw it. It's a short pass. That's going to be caught by Traviola. So they get a couple to about the 30-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. And now do you take your deep shot here, Connor? Prospect has not taken many deep shots here all night.
No. I think this is really about as perfect as it gets. 3rd and long, late, getting late into the third quarter, you're down by 10. You need that score right here.
And we won't even get to 3rd and long because it looks like there's a holding call against Prospect. So that's going to bring them even further back, it looks like. So that's going to still be a 2nd down near about the 43-yard line. So now Prospect's facing chances. Maybe you run here and then go deep on 3rd down. We'll see what they do. We'll see what Dan DeBuff calls with his aggressive offense. We've talked about the night tempo throughout the broadcast. He likes to go fast. He likes to go in the air. We'll see what they do here on a 2nd and 13 from the 43-yard line. Martin is feeling a lot of pressure, and he is going to go down. Number 50, Luke Tumberger, brought down Jimmy Martin, and it's going to be a 3rd and long. And now the rain is starting to really come down here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium.
Very, very important play for the Knights here. Third and about a mile. Let's see what Martin can do.
It's going to be a pass. He's going to probably have to go deep. He's going to find it. It's wide. Intended for Traviola. That might have been probably the most incomplete pass we've seen from Jimmy all night. Most of his passes have been pretty well.
Absolutely. That was towards the sloppiest pass we've seen, and even then it wasn't too bad. It was just a little off target, a little miscommunication there, but overall, Jimmy Martin has been lights out tonight with his passes thrown.
But I think they're missing that deep dimension. I think, yeah, you're going to get the short gain, and that's great. As Shaft, that is a booming kick into looks like Kevin Murphy's arms. So now it's Hunter Loprino, and he's going to get to the 18-yard line. And it's going to be called down by contact, and Tim Beischer cannot believe it. Looks like it was down by contact. There's going to be a bench warning called against Prospect.
Beischer needs to control his anger on there. We saw him screaming on the sideline, throwing his paper down, and now it'll cost the Knights.
Yep, it's going to be a bench warning on Prospect. And it's going to be a bench warning. And it looked like Beischer was going upset over a down by contact call. And so St. Viator is going to take the ball over 1st and 10 with a chance to perhaps take a lot of clock off here in this third quarter. They're going to call, looks like another unsportsmanlike potentially. as we'll see where they're going to spot this. The prospect bench has been very upset with the recent calls on the field. .609 remaining in the third quarter. It is St. Viator 13, Prospect 3. There's going to be Mahoney. The South Carolina commit is going to be tackled for maybe no gain. Back to the line of scrimmage, or potentially even only 1 yard loss. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Definitely need to stop here on defense from Brock Collins' group.
Absolutely. You see the underground student section trying to get the fans back into this game, trying to get some energy into Prospect's defense.
We'll see if they can rally the troops here. Oh, and almost a jump from Prospect's defense. Mahoney's going to throw a quick throw, and that's going to be caught. I'm not sure if that was a backwards pass. And Black is still on his feet, and he's going to get quite a distance. He's going to get close to the first down. Let's see what, I'm not sure. Might have been a flag on the field. We'll see.
It's interesting. The ball seemed to have bounced off of Black's hands and then back into his hands, which by rule would have ruled the ball down as an incomplete pass.
We'll see what they rule it here. It's an incomplete pass. It's a forward pass. And it looks like Elijah Black was shaken up on that play. And that could be a big loss for St. Viator, because he has been the muscle behind their offense here today. So it's going to be a 3rd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Rain is still coming down at a pretty steady pace. And Jack Mahoney, the junior quarterback, is going to throw. He's going to fire. It's picked off by Gary Moeller. Gary Moeller, the sophomore, just found his first interception of his high school football career. The backup quarterback has now gotten a pick off of Jack Mahoney, and there's an injured player, it looks like, for St. Viator.
Great read by Moeller, following the pass all the way through, following not only Mahoney's eyes, being able to spot the ball and take it back to the 40-yard line. Great opportunity for the Knights.
Looks like Nate Peters is down for St. Viator, but that's a big play, and that's going to put the Knights in great field position. Gary Moeller. And now they're trying to get this crowd pumped up. That could be a very big play here. And this crowd is getting very excited, even though they are still down by 10 points. And it looks like Gary Moeller is now wearing a cowboy hat. We'll try to find the answer to that one later.
Could be the equivalent to the University of Miami's turnover chain. I don't know. We'll have to see if that continues throughout the year.
We'll ask on Prospect Football Weekly whether that has any reference. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. This is Luke Zartan, and Zartan is off, and he's going to get a first down. Knights offensive line led by Mitch Camp, Drew Turtel. They are starting to get space for Zartan and the other backs.
Most important thing for the Knights offense right now is to keep this momentum going. Can't lose the fan engagement, can't lose the momentum you've got going, hopefully producing a score.
Here is another run. It's been working so far, and here is Zartan. He's going to get a couple. I'll bring up about a 2nd and 6. We'll see if maybe they go for a deep shot here in the end zone. We'll see. It's going to be Zartan with Martin. Here on a 2nd and 6 from the 18-yard line. Matt Meyer is in motion. They are going to hand it to Zartan, and he is met by a pair of Viator players. Ethan Holzkamp, 6'1", 315. Good luck.
You've got guys like Holzkamp, 315 pounds in front of you. There really isn't, there's nowhere to go.
And you're also considering he's 6'1", too. Martin is going to throw. Got to get rid of it quickly, and he's going to scramble, and he's not going to find much space. Gets a couple extra yards, and now it's decision time for Dan DeBuff.
I think here, late in the third quarter, there's still another 12 minutes in the fourth quarter. I think you get the score, put it back into a one-score game, kick the field goal, play it safe.
We'll see what Coach DeBuff is going to do. I think he's going to leave his offense on the field. Here on a 4th and 5 from the 17-yard line, this is a big decision, and I think he's going to want to talk it over once more. Timeout called by Prospect.
If the Knights do go for it here on 4th and 5, this is absolutely crucial for the Knights. They need to convert on this 4th down.
They talk about Luke Zardson's performance, first varsity game as well with the freshman team, 12 for 51. He has been playing very, very, very good today. We'll see if they keep Anthony Santangelo's leg on the sideline or they're going to bring him out here. He's in the group huddle, and let's see what Prospect's going to do here on a 4th and 5 from the 17-yard line. Santangelo made one from this distance, and they're going to send him out there. So this is going to be about a 34-yard field goal from Anthony Santangelo.
Crucial that the Knights are able to convert on this field goal here. You hit this field goal, it's 13-6 now. You're within it's a touchdown away from tying this game up. You feel a lot better about the position you're in this game.
Just think about that penalty from Viator early on that black run. Now he's shaken up a bit. Santangelo's kick is up, and it is good. And the Knights have brought it back to within a touchdown game, 13-6 with 3:31 remaining in the third quarter. They have 2 timeouts remaining. St. Viator has 3. And we'd like to take this time to thank our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. Head out there after the game, get chicken wings, mozzarella sticks, or whatever floats your boat, as well as Outback Steakhouse if you're feeling a medium rare steak in your system.
Wyatt, what would be your go-to right now if we were at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Well, first off, I want to see how this game ends up. But, you know, I'm always in for anything, Connor. I'll eat anything.
The special teams team onto the field, led by senior kicker Anthony Santangelo. The Knights will kick it deep and hope that they can get another defensive stop after the Gary Muller interception and keep this momentum going.
And now we'll see, looks like Elijah Black is back deep to return for St. Viator. So that's a big gain back because he has been so important for their offenses. There's a late substitution in for St. Viator. And Anthony Santangelo's foot is ready to kick the ball off the tee. And it is off. It's a little poocher. Careful on the bounce. And Black is going to return it from about the 12-yard line. Black is a very tough man to tackle. And he's going to be about at the 22-yard line, and that's where Jack Mahoney and company will start. 1st and 10. Obviously, stay tuned later tonight. Depending on if this game goes into the wee hours of the morning, maybe tomorrow morning for a full game recap on ProspectorNow.com. We'll have a conversation with Coach DeBuff on all things tonight's contest, as well as stay tuned for the Prospector Periscope interview with Coach DeBuff following the contest. 3:24 remaining in the third quarter. It is still a 13-6 St. Viator lead as Jack Mahoney is in the shotgun. He is going to give it, and he's going to keep it himself. He's a very, very tough man to tackle. 6'1", 190. Gain of about 4. It'll bring up a second and down and about 6. All in all, I think a lot of credit deserves to go to both teams' defenses for keeping this such a low-scoring game.
Oh, absolutely. I think both defense have been shined tonight. You know, we've seen some great plays from Gary Muller, won the interception, some great defensive stops by St. Viator's massive defensive line. I think both defenses have done a great job keeping their respective teams in this game tonight.
I think this is a great learning experience for the Knights going up next week against Hoffman Estates. They got a big line too, as Black is continuing to pound the Knights. He's going to get closer to another first down. He might be, and they're going to give it to him. It's going to be a first down for St. Viator. 2:32 remaining in the third quarter. Defense is going to need a stop here for Prospect to try and tie this ball game up at 13-all. Prospect lost the season opener last year to Hinsdale South at Hinsdale South, and that's a fumbled snap. He can't find it, and Mahoney's going to try and scramble it away. He's going to get a loss, a pretty big loss on the play, and now the rainy conditions are starting to really put into an effect.
You can really see the residue on the field from the glare of the lights, the rain, the water starting to build up. Football is getting slick. The field itself is getting slick. Conditions are going to be harder and harder to play. We're going to see how both teams respond to this.
Yeah, you can see the grain coming from the lights. Looks like it's coming down pretty steady pace right now, and we'll see how that is for both the quarterbacks. So it's going to be important for both sidelines to keep a towel, keep that football dry so it doesn't end up as an interception and leaving its hands. So it's going to be Mahoney's going to throw here on a 2nd and 18. Pass, oh, what a hit, and there's going to be a penalty. There's going to be a couple of them. And it looks like the IHSA rule is going to come into effect here. It's going to be a helmet, looks like a helmet contact, and that's going to be a 15-yard penalty and likely another Viator first down.
Linebacker Adam Mecke had the hit on the play. After the booming hit, the second he got up, saw the flag, his instant reaction was, where, how? I personally don't believe that should have warranted the penalty, but we talked about it earlier. The worst thing you can do after a call like that is fight it and get yourself in more trouble.
You have to be very careful though, but you gotta put on the brakes. Player safety is the most important, and that's been the IHSA's biggest thing. So on the field, that's a good call. So you gotta keep it careful, but that's just this one you gotta put the brakes on. I know that was a great hit by Adam Mecke, but that's when you just gotta hit the brakes on. And that rule is going to be very interesting to see how this impacts the rest of the game. And I think it's also going to be interesting for the running backs here, Connor, because now you see all the residue on the field. How slick the turf is going to be, and if it was grass, this would be like playing in a swamp. So after the penalty, it's a 2nd and 4 for the 41-yard line. That energized the crowd here at George Gaddis. Here's Black, and he's going to get a first down and a couple more. And he's going to be off to the races once again. Black is going to stumble to the ground at about the 35-yard line. Another big gain. That's going to be another St. Viator first down. Looks like he might have had a little more if he didn't slip on the turf.
Absolutely. If we were playing NFL rules right now, he wouldn't have been down by contact. He easily could have gone to the house. But you see, Elijah Black has basically been he's been impossible to tackle so far in the game. It seems he's just been able to dodge every tackle that he's been up against.
I think that also contributes to the Knights' inexperienced defensive line. We've seen a lot of consistency there. It's a bit younger this year, but this is good for experience against a really talented St. Viator core group. As Mahoney's going to hand it off once again to Black, and Black is going to get a couple to about the 35, 36-yard line. Gain of about one. It's going to bring about two. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8.
Something we haven't seen tonight is Elijah Black not making it past, 1 or 2 yards past that defensive line tonight.
Absolutely, Connor. Seems to be a lot of confusion on the field for something. Been a very interesting game here so far. A lot of great defensive plays, and that's going to wrap up the 3rd quarter. And at the end of it, it's going to be St. Viator 13, Prospect 6. They're going to switch sides, and we will be back in just a moment. As you see the underground getting pumped up for this 4th quarter of action. Knight's defense is going to need to make a big stop here against both Jack Mahoney and Elijah Black. So it's not going to get any easier for the Knights because Viator's in plus territory, and Michael Perk is still always an option to bring it up to a 2-possession game.
Absolutely, it's a critical quarter for the Knights here. They need to be able to stop on defense and get the ball back, finally get their first touchdown of the year. It just feels like there's weight on their shoulders waiting for that first prospect touchdown of the year.
And I think maybe because they haven't gone deep enough, they haven't really taken that big shot like St. Viator has a couple times this game. That's a key reason why prospect's not really on the board. They got to take those shots. I know the dink and dunks are great, and they have great receivers to run them, but you got to go deep and be aggressive to win football games. That's just how it's going to work against playoff teams, and they're going to learn that coming up with Hoffman Estates coming up next week. It's going to be 2nd and 9 for the 35, and St. Viator will be heading the other way.
We see now both student sections getting into the famous "we can't hear you" chants. Always love doing those in the student section to the other opposing teams.
Well, I think St. Viator has the edge in that little category because they are up 13-6, but that really doesn't matter because there's still a lot of game left. 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We haven't even started the time clock yet, and here's another deep shot from Mahoney. It's going to overthrow. There's a flag. It's going to be a hold. It's going to be a hold on Prospect. And it looks like that was a bit overthrown, but it's going to be a hold on Prospect.
Fans here at George Gaddis cannot believe the call from the officiating crew. We believe it's a holding call. Fan right there said that's horrible. Let's see what the officials say.
It's not even a holding call. It's a pass interference. Looks like he grabbed him a little bit. Knights bench got to be a bit careful here. They've already gotten one bench warning. That's a big penalty. That's huge. Because now you have the chance to bring it up to a 14-point game. This could be a 2-possession game in a couple plays. So that penalty could be very costly for Prospect.
We talked about earlier, as we said, penalties would dictate this game. We take the penalty against Elijah Black earlier in the game that caused Prospect to go get that field goal. We look at this now, this could cause another Viator score. Penalties will determine the end of this game.
Absolutely, and I know that might have been an uncatchable ball, but still you can't commit these penalties. You just can't commit them. Mahoney's going to throw. He gets nailed. And that's going to be caught by number 4. That's Lucas Barrias. It's going to be a gain of a couple. And now it looks like one of the offensive linemen, Holzkamp, for St. Viator, is a little shaken up. Holzkamp's a big fella, 6'1", 315. It looks like he's going to keep staying in there. Bringing in Michael Perk here, the kicker, also a running back and defensive back. It's going to be Lucas Barrias right next to Jack Mahoney, and Mahoney's going to take it himself. He's going to likely dive. He's going to get the first down easily. And he's going to get it. And now St. Viator has a chance to break it open into a 2-score game.
Critical stop here for the Knights. They need to get the stop here in defense, or at least hold Viator to a field goal. The game would go up to a 2-possession game, but that's not what the Knights are worried about right now. It's about stopping Viator in the red zone.
And then you got to go to basically, you got to start passing almost every play. You have great weapons in Zarzan and Chaffis and Marks that could run the football very fast, but now you got to get save the clock. The clock is your worst enemy. And so let's see what Prospect will do on the next drive. But first, it's Jack Mahoney's turn to show what he wants to do. And here's the handoff to Black. Knights wrap him up this time for a short gain. It's going to be Liam Mikes in the linebacking core for Prospect taking him down. Stay tuned also for our Outback player of the game, from either team. We will see who that might be. There's a lot of good candidates so far tonight. Stay tuned for the end of that at the end of the contest. The rain's still a pretty big factor as we start seeing glare coming from the lights. The field looks very, very slippery. Tough conditions. Here's Mahoney. He's going to go deep. This is going to be overthrown. Pass is intended for number 28, Owen Hickey, 6'2", 150. Another big red zone target for St. Viator.
Big third down here for the Knights. 3rd and 8 on Prospect's 13-yard line. They need to get their stop here, the stop that they've been waiting for, maybe to get some energy back into this defense, back into this team.
Back into this crowd as well. So right now it's... Let's see what Mahoney does, if he's going to go for another shot into the end zone or they're going to maybe run a little bit. Here on his 3rd and 8 from the 13-yard line. 10:08 remaining in the 4th quarter. Here's the throw. That pass is going to be tipped away. A nice play. And that is going to get the crowd pumped up. That's number 27. That's Danny Gerdes. And that is a big tip for the Knights, and it looks like they're going to send out Perk to attempt a field goal.
It was a great, great read from Danny Gerdes, chasing the pass down the entire time. Just saved Prospect's defense from giving up yet another touchdown.
Yes, it's going to be Michael Perk who's going to be on to attempt a 30-yard field goal. It's going to be a 30-yard field goal for Michael Perk. He missed one earlier. It was blocked by the Prospect special teams. Let's see if they can get something going here on this block. Quarterback Jack Mahoney is going to be the holder for the kick. Michael Perk, and it looks like there's a flag, and they're going to move 5 back. It's going to be a delay of game penalty, and that's going to bring it to a 35-yard field goal for Perk.
Both teams seem to be working out their kinks in the first game of the year, as we've seen just countless penalty after penalty in this contest. That feels like really the only thing that we've seen all night.
35-yard field goal in these conditions. The wind's going to be at his back here. That might help him. It is windy, and it's raining too, so it's going to be cold. Kick's on its way. It's short. It looks like it's going to be no good. It's going to be to the left, and Prospect gets the stop they need. And now they have a chance to tie the ball game back up.
It's the second missed or blocked field goal. Prospect needs to take advantage of this. Exactly 10 minutes left in the contest. Prospect now has a chance to go where they would get the ball after a kickoff, down 1 score. Now is Jimmy Martin's time to step up and lead this team.
It's time to show him what he's wanted to do. He's got to rally the troops up together and drive them down the field to try and tie this game against a postseason team, against a really good defense, big defensive line. This is where the offensive line needs to step up and provide Jimmy Martin the time to throw the ball down the field. I know they might add some run plays, but you got to see a lot of passes here on this drive. He's gonna scramble right out of the gate. Martin's gonna go around. He's gonna get some room, and Jimmy Martin's gonna go to about the 47-yard line. That's a big gain. That's a gain of almost 30, gain of 29, and a Knights first down.
Great play. Can't even put into the words the amount of adrenaline Jimmy Martin is feeling right now. He is in the position that he's in the place that he's been talking about all summer, wanting to lead Prospect down, a touchdown, down for this winning drive to get back into this game.
He wants to bring it back to where it belongs, and that would be the postseason, but right now it's bring it back to a tie game, and it looks like there's a timeout called by St. Viator. This is going to pump up that crowd. Now they're getting some energy here in this building. That was the 31-yard gain from Jimmy Martin's scramble. That's the largest play of the night for Prospect. We once again would like to remind you during this timeout, stay tuned for the post-game Periscope interview on our Twitter page at Prospector Now with head coach Dan DeBuff. And again, Connor, we've been talking about Elijah Black all night. 14 carries, 146 yards, and that pair of touchdowns. Those have been killer for Prospect.
Absolutely. He's been just unstoppable all night. He's just been what we've been talking about. This has been Elijah's Black show. He has been this offense, and the Knights defense hasn't been able to stop him yet. We'll see if they can take advantage while they're on offense.
Now the rain's starting to come down a little harder now. And it is not letting up here. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line for Jimmy. He's going to take the step. He's going to scramble again. He's going to find an opening. He's going to get a gain of about 10. It's going to be very close to the first down. We'll see if they're going to give it to him. And it's going to be maybe a yard short of the line. So it's going to be a 2nd and 1 from the 42-yard line. Martin's going to throw quick. This is Matt Meyer. Meyer is going to go to the right. He's going to get the first down with 9:23 remaining in the fourth quarter. Prospect is still down 6-13 against the St. Viator Lions.
Great play by the Knights offense. All you can ask for play by play is just getting those small yards, winning those little battles, moving the chains. That's all they need to stay focused on.
Now do you take a chance down the field? And up, they're going to tell the ground's chain gain to move the chains, and they do just that. It's a first down for Prospect at about the 41-yard line. It's going to be Zartan behind Jimmy Martin here. As Jimmy's in the shotgun, he is going to scramble once again. This is his third scramble in the last 4 plays. Martin's going to get a block from number 3, Brian Doherty. He's going to get another solid gain. Good start. Good job by Jimmy on this drive, getting some yards through the ground.
Absolutely. So far, you know, the quarterback run game's been working for the team, and I believe if you've got something working for you, why stop it? If the quarterback run is continuing to work for the Knights offense, don't take that away. Keep using that to your advantage.
And now they hand it to Zartan, and it looked like he found a hole. He's going to get the first down. He needed 3. He got way more than 3. Gain of about 5. And it's going to be a Prospect first down. And now 8:42 remaining in the fourth quarter. Prospect is still down 13-6 against St. Viator. This is the home opener. This is the season opener for both teams. Quick pass to Ryan Traviola. Traviola is going to get tackled at about the 25-yard line. A gain of about 4. Bring up a 2nd and 6.
Now you can feel the energy here on the home side of the bleachers. The fans want that score. You can feel the student section starting to amp it up with their cheers a little bit.
It's like a foot massage upstairs. They're going to hand it off to Zartan. And Zartan's going to get very close to the line. It's going to be a 3rd and about maybe 2 coming up for Prospect. This is the biggest 3rd down probably all night.
Very critical that they don't put themselves in that 4th down situation, which they've been in before so far in this game.
They're going to hand it off to Zartan. Is he going to get it? It looks like he did. And he's going to get, he needed 2, he got 3. It's going to be a first down for Prospect. They're going to try to keep the tempo going. They're hurrying back to the line. This might make Viator's two-way players pretty tired. Jimmy's going to take the snap, handed back to Zartan. Zartan's going to go to the outside, and he's going to be met by a couple of Viators, including one of his own players. That looks like that's Ryan Traviola, who assisted the Viator tackle with that one. Here's Schaffis, and Michael Schaffis is going to break the tide. He crossed the goal line, a touchdown for Prospect, and that is going to be 1 point away from tying this ball game.
You can feel the energy in the press box, you feel it in the stands, you feel it in the student section. Now Prospect is hyped up. This game just is about to be tied.
That was a very difficult run for Michael Schaffis. He had to get through big guys to get to that point. We talked about him trying to be an exclusive one-way player, but Dan DeBuff found a way to get carries to the leading rusher the past couple of seasons. Great run by Schaffis, great call by Coach DeBuff, and they're going to go for 2, potentially. No, they're going to go for 1, as you see the line from Tim Beischer. They're going to go for the extra point. No point in going for 2 here. Not at this point here in the game. 7:21 remaining in the fourth. This is the chance for the tie. Anthony Santangelo's kick is up, and it's perfect. And we have a tie ball game here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. It's Prospect 13 at St. Viator 13.
Now as we talk about the offense, now is a critical point for the defense. They've worked this way back. They were down 13-3. They tied it up. Now can they keep this going and get a stop on defense?
What a drive for the Prospect Knights there. 10 plays in that drive. There was great running on that play from Jimmy Martin, from Michael Schaffis, from Luke Zarz, and it was just a all-around great offensive effort. That's the drive Dan DeBuff wanted to see in this situation.
And that's exactly what we talked about at the beginning of the drive. We said that this was the drive that they needed. They needed this one drive to get themselves back in the game, Jimmy Martin to prove to be the leader who he is, and they did exactly that.
And if you think this place was just getting raucous, we're going to get more excitement here in a couple of moments when we see Viator get the ball back. And we'll see what the Prospect defense can do. That last drive, 10 plays, 82 yards, 239. It took Jimmy Martin 3 rushes, 46 yards on that drive. That's big. And now he's playing, it looks like, some special teams. Maybe that's the wrong number, it looks like. There's another 10. It looks like that's Jake Winsky. And it looks like they're one of the up men. Oh, boy. And he's going to plow through some Knights to about the 29-yard line. Interesting that one of the up men got to take that one.
Very interesting. I don't know if that was exactly planned. It's kind of just right place, right time. But, with your Viator, you just got to take, roll with the punches and just keep going with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I think Viator, are they going to take clock off? They're going to be more running and try and take as much time so that Prospect does not have that chance. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining here with 7:16 remaining in the final quarter of play.
I think if you are St. Viator, I think that's your main objective, is to try to take as much time as you possibly can off the clock, score, and then give Prospect as little time as possible to be able to come back and retaliate.
Absolutely, and let's see, Jack Mahoney, the junior quarterback in the shotgun here is Elijah Black. Black has eaten the Knights alive, and the Knights wrap them up and stop them for only maybe a gain of 1. Bring up a 2nd and 9 from the 30-yard line. Couple of substitutions here for St. Viator as they prepare for a 2nd and 8 from the 31-yard line. The game is all squared up at 13 with 6:46 remaining here in the final quarter. Wyatt Utrecht, Connor Graber from George Gaddis Memorial Stadium in Mount Prospect. As we open the season against the St. Viator Lions, next home game will be against Deerfield as Mahoney's going to throw. This pass is right on target, and that's going to be to the big, tall Kevin Murphy, and he has just used that height to the perfect advantage.
Great play by Mahoney, seeing Kevin Murphy open in space. Really, important to convert that for Viator's offense and keep their chains moving.
And he used every part of that 6'3" frame. Knights Palms cheerleaders, they're telling him to be aggressive, don't hold back. Let's see what the Knights defense do here on this 1st and 10. Short pass, that's going to be incomplete. Yeah, they're going to call that an incomplete pass. That pass is intended for number 3, Zach DeJohn. I haven't called his name much today, but he was expected to be a big part of this offense here tonight.
He was, and so far we've seen really Kevin Murphy and Elijah Black have been the 2 main pieces of this Viator offense that junior quarterback Jack Mahoney has gone to the most tonight.
And and this is where having big red zone targets is key in these type of games, because you need to throw it up. It's a 50-50 ball, and they're gonna have a chance to make something happen. And it looks like looks like we're just getting ready to go. And here we go. Mahoney's gonna take a snap. This throw is to Black, and he's gonna break a couple Knight tackles. He's gonna take a group with him, and that is a big push from the Prospect defense led by number 59. That's
And you also saw in that play, you saw senior linebacker Michael Sema trying to rip the ball out of Elijah Black's hand, hopefully forcing a turnover on the play.
Yeah, right now, turnovers are terrific, but you just got to focus on making the tackle here. Yeah, if the ball comes out, that's another thing, but you got to make the tackle against Black, who has just owned the Knights, who has just deteriorated the Knights' tackling abilities. Mahoney's at throw, and picked off! That's going to be my number 6. That's Adam Ryerson, it looks like. And that is going to make this game very interesting, as Prospect's going to get the ball in Viator territory with the chance to take the lead.
Wow, we are in a completely different place. from when Elijah Black had that 80-yard touchdown. We look at the Knights now, the game is tied. The ball is on Viator's 32-yard line. Prospect is knocking on the doorstep. Trying to go, make it 16, 17 straight points scored on the St. Viator defense.
Here's Adam Ryerson, a guy who played a lot of receiver and QB for the JV team last year, getting a big interception here late in the first game against a school which is so close in proximity. That has got to feel good for the Knights. And here is a handoff. That's going to gain a couple. Into a pair for Zardzen, who's had a very big night in his first night.
Knights are trying to keep that run game going that was so successful for them in that last drive.
Martin's going to throw. It's going to be a short pass. It's going to be caught. And that's going to be a first down for Prospect. That's going to be to number 22. That's Noah Marks, and we talked about him. He's a very good screen pass runner. And the Knights executed there for a first down. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. They needed it to the 10 for a first down.
This Knights offense looks absolutely rejuvenated. They found their groove. They found that up-tempo pace that head coach Dan DeBuff was looking for.
Zardzen for a yard to the 19-yard line. They'll bring up a 2nd and 9 from the 19-yard line. And now the question is, what do they do? Are they going to try and go for the end zone here? They're going to give it to this is Zardzen. Zardzen is going to get close to the first down. He's going to be about 3 yards short. It's going to bring up for a 3rd and 3. And now if you're Dan DeBuff and you got a 4th down, are you kicking a field goal in this case?
Honestly, I think you've had so much success with the ball so far, leading to drives. I think you go for it in this 4th down situation.
They're taking the chance of not getting anything at all. We'll see if Martin might go for the end zone here. We'll see. They're going to hand it to Zardzen. Zardzen's going to go around. He's going to get a 1st and goal at about the 4-yard line. 3:56 remaining in the final quarter. It is still tied at 13 with the Knights knocking on the door. 1st and goal for Prospect. That last play of the interception from Adam Ryerson, that is proving to be one huge play. Handoff, Shaffis. Michael's going to take it in. Touchdown, Prospect. He crosses the goal line and scores his 2nd touchdown of the ball game. And he adds to the Knight lead. There's a penalty marker down. We will see what this is about. This might be a celebration penalty. Let's see it. This might be on Viator. We'll see. There is a flag. We will see. I don't think it's going to matter. It will not. They're going to pick up the flag. It's going to be on Viator. And now the question is, are they going to go for 1 here? Or are they going to go for 2? I think they should go for 1 and take the 7-point lead.
I think in this situation, you play it safe. You get that extra point. You build up that lead that you finally had. But you take a look down at the Knights bench. You see hugs all around. They're excited. This is what they've worked for so hard this summer to create this new team, this new identity, and it's paying off.
Prospect now up 19-13, trying to make it a 20-13 game with 3:48 remaining in the 4th quarter. Santangelo's kick is going to be terrific. And now this place is going ballistic. But we are still far from over. 3:48 remaining in the final quarter. Knights 23, St. Viator 13. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining in the contest.
The buzz you can feel now at George Gaddis, it's a feeling I haven't felt since my freshman year, the days of Matt Drew. This team is excited, rejuvenated. We don't know what's next, but we're excited for it.
Let's see how Viator responds to this last touchdown from Prospect. We will see. This last drive for Prospect, 6 plays, 32 yards in 1 minute and 31 seconds. Luke Zardzen had another great drive, 4 rushes, 17 yards, helping the Knights take the lead. 2013 Prospect, 3:48 remaining. Anthony Santangelo, a Prospector alum, is going to kick to number 8, Elijah Brown. Pardon me. And one of the upmen's going to get it. And let's see how this ends. It's going to be to the 35-yard line. And let's see what Jack Mahoney and crew can do. Down to 7.
It'll
be interesting to see now, like you mentioned, Jack Mahoney and crew, how will they respond to now them being under pressure, them in a tight scoring situation? How will they respond to being down in this game?
It's the first time they have trailed in this game here today. Jimmy Martin has had a good day today, both in terms of passing and running. 20 rushes, 68 yards, 9 of 14 for 63 yards passing. Luke Zardzin has been a very key part in the Knights offense. 20 carries, 81 yards. I'm sure we're going to say both of their names a lot in stories coming up this season. But it's time for Jack Mahoney's turn to see what he's going to do. With 3:44 remaining, he's going to throw on 1st and 10. Mahoney facing pressure. That pass is going to be incomplete. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. Second and 10 from the 35-yard line. It's Jack Mahoney, it's Elijah Black. Two gentlemen who have given the Knights a lot of problems tonight, but the Knights have found the answer on a couple of key defensive plays, including an interception from Adam Ryerson. Here is Mahoney. He is going to try and escape. He'll get to about the 37-yard line. 37, 38-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 4. It's going to be 3rd and 6 for St. Viator. They need to get to the 45-yard line to extend the drive. This is going to be 4-down territory for the Lions, right, Connor?
Absolutely. This is a key 3rd down, not only for the Knights defense, but for St. Viator's offense. They need to convert on this play.
And once again, stay tuned. And Dan DeBuff's going to use a timeout, a very interesting decision. It's going to be his. And now Dan DeBuff's going to have one final timeout to use left here in the contest.
And now the mentality now in this timeout isn't, for what we've seen the entire game being down. It's now we have the lead. How can we make this crucial stop on defense? How can we build a defense? What will the Knights have to do to close out this game and start the year with a big first win against the Knights?
This is going to be a fun game. This has been one heck of a game. And to recap, if you got to start with what a game he's had on the ground tonight. His first game as a varsity quarterback. What a game he's had as well on the ground and also through the air. They've taken some big shots and have made something happen.
Absolutely, and I think another important thing you look at is the Knights' turnaround. We see like early in the 3rd quarter, this team looked dead. They were exhausted, tired, making mistakes. 2 key interceptions. They've turned this game around.
And now they're going to see if they can turn it over here on a 3rd and 6. Ryan Travaiola, Matt Meyer, they want to hear some more. As it's Mahoney, he's going to throw. He's going to find time. He finds Murphy, and he makes the catch. He used every part of that 6'3", 55. And there's going to be a hold on St. Viator, and that's not going to count. And the linemen of St. Viator, they cannot believe it.
Now these penalties that we've been talking about the entire game are coming back, being a huge advantage for the Knights. This is a crucial play that they needed call back.
Two very key defensive plays from Gary Moeller, getting his first pick. Adam Ryerson getting a pick. Those have been the 2 key plays for Prospect to get this stadium, this crowd, these players, these coaches rejuvenated into an energy that we haven't seen in a while from this team. This is the game you need to have right now. You need to stop this Viator offense, this high-powered run-pass attack. You got to stop them right here, Connor.
I think the best way to kick off the DeBuff era would be this big home win, home opener win against St. Viator. This is exactly what they needed.
Mahoney's in pressure. He's going to get sacked. Sacked by number 50. By number 51. That's Liam Mikes gets the big sack. And now it's going to bring up a 4th and a mile. 4th and 26. It's going to be a 3rd and 26 from the 14. St. Viator is going to need to take they're going to have 2 shots to try and keep this game alive. It's actually a 4th and 26, so they're going to only have one shot. And it looks like they're going to punt. And they are going to punt. They're going to punt. Michael Perk. This is going to be a key punt here because the Knights can just clock it out. This is on its way to Gary Moeller now returning. Here comes Moeller. Moeller is going to be tackled at the 42-yard line. And this is where the Knights have the chance to wrap it up.
Now, if you're the Knights offense, do you go for that other score to really put the nail in the coffin, bring it home, or do you just play it safe and try to run out the clock?
You have to go for it. I mean, this is a team that's fast. This is a Viator team that has great passing. They got great offense. You got to put the nail in the coffin. You can't be lazy here on offense. You got to go for it because at the end of the day, you need to make one shot, and that shot can get you to 1-0. Or if you're too conservative, it's going to send you to 0-1. So let's see what Prospect does. It looks like they're going to have Martin carry it. Jimmy's going to get a couple. St. Viator is going to be careful with their timeouts. They got 2 left. 2:10 remaining, and St. Viator is going to use the first of their 2 timeouts. It's going to be a 2nd and about 8 from the 40-yard line. Unfortunately, this is not the NFL, and there is no 2-minute warning. So if that clock gets past 2 minutes, please do not be commenting on the section about the 2-minute warning. We would like to again once thank our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings and Mount Prospect, for sponsoring tonight's game. They've had a good one to sponsor, as well as Outback Steakhouse. Stay tuned for the Outback Player of the Game. There are so many choices and some very tough decisions we're going to need to make here in the next couple minutes.
Absolutely. You know, I think towards up until these 2 scores from the Knights, I think Luke Zardzin was kind of your lead player, you know, to win the Outback Player of the Game because it's his first varsity game. He's had some solid rushes, but now from Shaffis, Ryerson, there's really so many names that you could think of.
Let's see if the Knights are going to try and wrap it up here. They're going to run. Look, this is Zardzin, and Zardzin's going to be, and a flag, and that could be a first down for Prospect. It's going to be a late hit. And this might put the Viator chances in grave condition. It's going to be a first down.
We saw that late hit call earlier in the first half, stab Viator in the back. Now it's coming back to bite them again late in this game when they cannot afford to have a penalty like this.
It's crucial. I mean, it's unbelievable. And now they still have 1 timeout left. It's a critical penalty. It's the biggest penalty of the game. What's up? Later. And they're going to send the Knights back, and now do you still put the nail in the coffin, or you just run the clock out? Viator has 1 timeout left. They could run out a lot of clock here.
They definitely can, but I think, like you said earlier too, you can't play lazy on St. Viator because if they get the opportunity, they will come back and they will make you pay for it.
There's Shaffis, and he is going to wrap this up. He crosses the goal line, and Prospect might have just put the dagger on St. Viator. A Knight touchdown.
Michael Shaffis, unreal performance tonight. He's come in 3 times in the game, all late red zone drives, 3 for 3 on his red zone appearances with 3 touchdowns. Love to see it.
That is a huge touchdown for Prospect, and with that touchdown being scored, it's going to be time to name our Outback Player of the Game, Michael Shaffis. What a day. 7 carries, 60 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns in the day, Connor. What a performance from a guy who we thought would just be a linebacker this year.
Unbelievable. We talked about DeBuff not wanting, these 2-way players, and they put in Shaffis, who's had that experience for these key drives, able to convert. And now Martin going for the 2-point conversion, and they will get it. It was Martin with the connection to wide receiver Brian Doherty. Knights putting more nails in the coffin. They're up 28-13 now. 1:51 left in the game.
With 1:51 remaining in the fourth quarter, the score, Prospect 28.
For your live Periscope interview of head coach Dan DeBuff, which you can find live on Prospector Now, it's Twitter. And check later tonight for our story on this game by Wyatt's Utrecht, interviewing head coach Dan DeBuff. You'll see that on prospectornow.com. And one thing we'd like to do tonight is thank our viewers who have tuned into this broadcast. This is what we do it for. We do it for you to be able to watch prospect football around the country, and we appreciate the support that you give us. Stay tuned for our Week 4 game against Deerfield, where we'll work out some of the broadcasting kinks. I know we had some problems tonight, but that was just our first test run through tonight. Not everything was going to work out exactly how we thought it would. But for Deerfield, Week 4 will be better than ever, and hopefully this prospect team will be too. And Santangelo kicks it off. Short swip kick. Picked up at around the 40-yard line, and he's met by an army of Knights around the 40-yard line. Now for Jack Mahoney, he has to try one last latch-ditch effort to try to get back into this game, although it's not looking well for Viator. And I think one of the really important things that you take in this game is how quickly this shifted to in the Knights' favor. We look midway through the third quarter. It was 13-3. Like I said earlier, you know, Prospect's offense was looking dismal. Fans were upset, booing at flags. We look at now, Prospect has the lead 28-13. The energy is back in George Gaddis Stadium. They've been waiting for a team like this since the early 2000s. You know, the days of Prospect State Championships, 2000, 2001, 2005. We look at now as Mahoney completes his pass to Nate Peters around the 46-yard line. As I was saying earlier, we want to bring that state championship team back, and that's what starting quarterback Jimmy Martin and head coach Dan DeBuff believe they have with the new culture that they've implemented. Mahoney in the shotgun. He's going to run up the middle, trying to get into Knights territory, and he won't. He is met by Adam Mackey. What a great hit from Adam Mackey, pushing him out of bounds, forcing him not into Knights territory. And it'll be third down and about 1 on St. Viator's 49-yard line. St. Viator looks to try to get something going as it's just fallen apart in the second half for the Lions. And as St. Viator calls their final timeout, we'd like to thank one last time our sponsors of tonight's game, Buffalo Wild Wings of Mount Prospect. They've been broadcasting our live game. They've been helping us out a lot this year, and they're a really crucial part of this team. We'd also like to thank our other partner, Outback Steakhouse, for providing us with the Outback Player of the Game. As we look over here to the left on our track, we can see all 500 or so students at this game ready to rush the field, and deservingly so. Prospect, coming off a 3-6 season with a dismal offense and a dismal defense, was looking for this big win to start the DeBuff era, and that's what this win is. You beat a team, St. Viator, coming off a second-round playoff berth from last year. This is the type of win that Prospect needs. It's very funny to watch our broadcast crew from back here on the media box scramble to try to find cameras to be covering the students over in the end, rushing the field. With just over a minute left in the fourth quarter, the score is Prospect 28, St. Viator 13. St. Viator trying to get something going after being shut down from the third quarter on. You know, you've got to love it being a Prospect student.
Down to the 39, a gain of 5, second and 5.
That was brought to the team, and I think you can encapsulate it perfectly with storming the field afterwards, really to cap off this perfect home opener. Now anxiously waiting for the minute to finish. Wow, great play. Number 45, Jonathan Friedrich. Another big time play by this Knights defense. They've shown up big when they've needed to. The interceptions, we look at the blocked field goal. This Knights defense team has shown up when they needed to, when the Knights team needed it the most. Time winding down. Mahoney in the shotgun. Nearly intercepted again. Was number 6, Adam Ryerson, looking for his second interception of the game. Just over 31 seconds now left in the fourth quarter. It's 4th down and 13 on Prospect's 47-yard line. Mahoney again on the stop in the shotgun, with Elijah Black. Deep pass, couldn't get anything there. That will be a turnover on down for the Knights as Jimmy Martin prances onto the field, ready to knee the ball down one more time. This is it. This is the win we've been talking about and been waiting for. This is the perfect way to start the DeBuff era. Overall, a great win from all sides of Prospect football. Just a great overall game. Can't wait for the excitement that it'll bring into the next week. And as Martin calls the final play, players get ready. They know what's coming next. Finally being able to rush the field. Martin takes a knee. Let the celebration begin. And as the clock runs out, 15 seconds or so, the Prospect Knights will advance to 1-0, and the St. Viator Lions will fall to 0-1. And as the clock winds down, and we have your final. Prospect 28, St. Viator 13. Prospect advances to 1-0. St. Viator falls to 0-1. Great overall game. Great way to kick off the DeBuff era. This was exactly what he needed, was a big, big win against a team like St. Viator. Now they're holding the students back from rushing the field, it seems, which got to feel like a caged up animal in that case. Wait for it. And here they come. Dan DeBuff, our Lord and Savior. Welcome to Prospect football. A great way to kick off the season. Thank you so much to our sponsors and fans who have tuned into tonight's game. I'm Connor Graver, down with Wyatt Dutrek on the field. Final score from George Gaddis. Prospect 28, St. Viator 13. We'll see you in 3 weeks with Prospect facing off Deerfield here at George Gaddis. I'm Connor Graver, signing off.